So, if you want to kick us off.
Yeah. Um, so this podcast that we have is called Culture Talk, and I'm Prem Patel, and
I'm Baron Najman. So we're actually doing this right now for our English class. This is an assignment that we're doing right now, and we're doing it during our hackathon class. And so this is what's going on right now as we're doing our podcast. So during this podcast, we're going to be talking about race and basically the issues and things surrounding it both in our lives at home and our lives at school. And so me and Prim are both career tech majors. I'm career tech and communication. Prim, you are.
computer science and creative tech double major.
Yeah. I also want to speak about our religious backgrounds because like they will sort of play a role as like how this podcast goes on. So I identify as a Christian, a Black Christian. You are a
I'm a Hindu,
and
Indian Hindu.
and so I'm also I come from a mostly like a middle class family. Prim.
I so my family we were more towards the poor, lower class side at first, and then eventually we became middle class.
And so yeah, I just wanted to start that off so that way as we go on, you guys can sort of understand the backgrounds that we are coming from. And so to kick it off, let's talk about why we both chose to come to this school. So you wanna go?
Yeah. So this was actually my last option. My first option was Georgia Tech, but I got waitlisted and it was just taking too long, so I feel like I needed to go to another school. My second option was UGA, which I also didn't get into, so I decided to go to Berry College, and it was just a last second choice. So, but I'm glad I chose it.
So Berry College was also my backup school. So I maxed out every college that you could apply for on your common application. I applied for like over 20 colleges, and so like the max on Common App and like some other schools I filled out their application. So Barry was my safety school because I found it by accident. Like I didn't think number one that I'd get in, and number two I didn't think I'd be able to afford it. But then during the pandemic, a lot of schools were closed and Barry was fully opened. The financial aid worked out to where I was able to attend Barry College,
Mm-hmm.
and then I saw how it was a small school with really good opportunities, a small class size, and so I also at the time thought that I'd be able to continue my athletics here, and so that led to me picking Berry College as a college, and so that's what led to me being here. Just so you guys kind of understand the way our school. So Berry College is a small, like a very small school, like about 2,100 undergrad students. So like most people here know each other pretty well. We are in the middle of nowhere, like we're like in Rome, Georgia, which is like about an hour and a half outside of Atlanta, and an hour and a half outside of Atlanta, Chattanooga. So like we're like right in the middle of like nowhere in northwest Georgia, and it's a predominantly Christian, predominantly white school. It's about 72.8% white, 13.8% black, 7.7% Asian. And so like just to give you the kind of stats of our school, and also this school's mainly female, and so that's the background around the school. So like being a minority, like me and Prim are, like you definitely stick out at this school.
Yeah, I definitely agree
Yeah.
with that. I just feel like since we're both male and minorities, it's like the smallest percentage. And some things that I felt, I don't know if you felt or not, but when I first got here, I just really felt like I was out of place. And it was really hard for me to make friends because at first, my freshman year, I was actually a commuter. And my sophomore year, I actually became an RA, which beneficial for me because it allowed me to show people who I really am and the person who I am and not really treat me as this outsider. What about you?
So my experience was a bit different because obviously I came in 2020, which was the year of COVID, and so when I first came to Berry College, everything was closed off. I didn't really get to see or interact with people that much, and so it's already like pretty hard to connect with people there. Then obviously I come in. I'm from the Northeast. I'm a black person. I'm almost African. It's like apart from religion and my sexuality, you got multiple intersectionalities right there. And so I set out pretty much just like it was really hard for me to like relate to people and like seem genuine, and so I really struggled with that coming in. Um, as I've been here more, it's a bit easier. But thing is, Brave College is a very like niche school. So like once people get there, people get here, they stick with their groups, and so like it's very clicky. Which honestly, like when you go to a small school, that tends to happen anyway. But like I think here, because we're a small school in the middle of nowhere, it feels a lot more exacerbated.
Right. I actually got a question for you. So, do you feel like you're in a group here at this rate?
Now, I do not hang out with the same people every day, like, cause I didn't play on a sports team here. Like, my cohort isn't like Winship, which is like our like which is basically a group of kids from the Winship Foundation that live on their own campus at this school. I didn't like I wouldn't have fallen into any group that hung out for an extended period of time to where that group would have became my extended set of my like exclusive set of friends. And so no, I don't have a group here.
Okay.
You?
I'd say this year, I feel like yes. But it's like a group where we have so many different races and different backgrounds that come in and really become one. It's not one of those like athletes on athletes or like Wind Shape, for instance. It's not one of those groups. It's just like I'd say a bunch of outsiders coming together as one, which is the group that I feel like I am in, and I absolutely love it. It's a really good reason why I actually want to stay at Berry College for the rest of my college career.
And I will say this. So I think coming to a school like Berry College, because you have so many students that are from different backgrounds, going to this school made me like become friends and interact with people that I wouldn't normally like become friends with. And so like so like I came here, I was a lot more like politically liberal, and so I've never really had friends who were conservative or like didn't share the same values as I did. But then I came here and like a lot of my friends come from like different walks of life, to where like some are more conservative, and like some have different beliefs, different religions than me, and come from like wealthier or poor families, and like and this school like it put me in a place where like I can meet those people, and like I could like relate to and interact with people who didn't necessarily look like me. I'll say this, like Berry College is not is a place where like people would have to give you the chance to like talk to them, and and it's up to you to decide, hey, do I want to make a friendship out of this? Most people here, if you like spend time with them and like talk to them, they are willing to like sit down with you, and like, and if you have something in common, it's pretty easy to become friends with people here.
Berry College really making friends is somewhat easier than a lot of other universities. First reason, because it's being small, and everyone is just a lot. Most of the people are nice. That's what I would like to say.
Also, like, yeah, when you're a small school, like at this school, you see the same people every single day.
Right.
Right now, if I call the gatehouse, right, which is like our like the gate for people to come in, someone who works there, I know that person. Like the same people that you see in your class are the same people that you'll see like at D Hall. Like I'll walk around like small school, like you're gonna run into the same people all the time. Like this isn't like UJ or a big store where like
Right.
it's easy to like hide those kind of things.
I feel yeah, and I love that.
The climate on campus, for the most part, like this isn't a place where you're gonna deal with a lot of like direct racism, like in your face, like hey, we're gonna discriminate against you. Most people here are considered to be pretty neutral, and then if you ever get any sort of reaction at all, most of the time it's a microaggression. Like it's like a hidden behavior, and it's not really like apparent or like obvious. Like, and that's what I can say from my point of view. How about you?
I'd agree with that. There's just mainly microaggressions. So I want to point out that I feel like I'm like one of 10 Indians that actually go to Berry College.
Wow.
And I've only met like maybe a handful, like 5, I'd say. And I feel like that for me is kind of hard because like I really wanted to have other people that are my race so I can have something in common with them. But as I started to grow and the year passed, and I feel like that I am able to talk to others without, like, I'm able to talk to others freely now, and I don't rely on my own race, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I will say this. So I came in and like there are more black people at this school, but the thing is there are very few of what I call black NARPs, which is NARP is non-athletic regular person. So I at this school I'm one of like what is probably around 20 black NARPs, or like non-athletes at this school. Like the overwhelming majority of black men at this school are athletes, and the overwhelming majority of the athletes play football here. And so like kind of like coming here, it's like I didn't fit any of those like stereotypes of being that category of a black athlete, which made me feel a lot more isolated. So like, I didn't have that athletic community to like fall back on, and I kind of had to like overcome a lot of the same stereotypes that like us black people get for only being known for like being athletes and like not really being known as being students, like anything else. I don't know about if you had to deal with any of that before.
Mine is the actually opposite. So for Indians, a lot of people assume that we're just like these geniuses and all we do is school, school, school. But for me, I'm actually a multi-sport athlete in high, or I was a multi-sport athlete in high school, and I feel like that's very uncommon for people that are of my race, and it just made me feel different and stand out, you know?
First time I met Prim, like I remember it was in a mirror basketball. I'm thinking, okay, he's okay. This guy goes out for like at least 12 points, shoots like back-to-back threes. I'm talking like deep range threes. I'm like, okay, like he's played basketball before at a high level, because like these
I
weren't like
appreciate that.
they weren't like immature moves. Like this at this school like intramurals like this is kind of off like at this school intramurals are a very serious thing to where like there are a lot of former athletes at this school play in those tournaments. It's like if you're not like a good athlete, like you aren't gonna get very far in those games at all. It's like
Right.
yeah, it's kind of speaks to like how like even I was surprised to see that.
Yeah, so, yeah, a lot of people are surprised by me because when they see me on the court, they're like, nah, this dude he's not going to do anything. But I actually show out and do my thing out there, and they really have a different viewpoint on me now. Not thinking that, hey, this dude's a computer science and creative tech major, and wow, he gets good grades, and he's going to be IT or be a doctor or in that area. You get what I'm saying?
But like sort of speaking into that, like because we are a smaller school, and many of these kids come from like smaller towns. Like when they've never seen a minority before, they tend to automatically default to stereotyping. And so even me, I remember when I first came here, like a lot of people like didn't believe that, oh, I came from the Northeast. They're like, oh, if you're from Boston, like how? Because like they've never met someone like me that's from that part of the country before. And so like it is definitely very interesting on me of this school. Like you're kind of forced to like explain to people that, hey, no, just because I'm this minority, that doesn't mean I'm this thing. And at this school, kind of being forced to kind of do that more on a daily basis. So I would say this as for like an event in the news that really had a big impact on me, like that summer of 2020 was like so much stuff. Like here I am going to college dealing with COVID, and then like in that same summer, George Floyd gets kneeled on by a cop, and then Ahmaud Arbery gets shot innocently just walking around. Like that summer for me was literally, and here I am going to a school in the Bible Belt South, and it's me coming from the North, very much giving like almost like an Emmett Till kind of situation there. Like that summer for me was like so much going on. Like I remember like I was really sitting here questioning like, because obviously I'm an immigrant, so like I've always grown up like really appreciating like the opportunities that I have in America, like a free high quality education, colleges like running water, power. Like I've always viewed America as like this amazing place to be. But to find out that like, hey, like there's still like hate and like there's still like bad things out there that may affect me. For at least for me, was like, oh my gosh, like what's even going on right now? And so I think that's something for me was like, yikes, like as a country and a society, there's still a lot to work on. And then like I come buried. It's like nothing even happened because like I think at this school we're so like politically inactive to a fault where like certain issues like these are just ignored and like the work isn't even like being done.
The point that I want to bring up the event is the Afghanistan war, which really affects all of the Middle Eastern countries. A lot of people come to me saying that I'm a terrorist and I like blow something up because I'm getting associated with this war that is going on in all of these Middle Eastern countries, and I feel like that's just not right. And yeah.
A big thing's like number one, lack of education. Like people really aren't like Americans are known for like not really being good at stereotyping. Like it's pretty well known that like it asks any minority like how they feel. Like most of them receive like ignorant statements. So like you have like the whole grouping of like putting every single person that looks like somebody else all in one group, and then like just like saying things are ignorant and don't do anything to like spread any good messaging. Like and then when people like can't tell these like ignorant statements from facts, that's when you get like mass hysteria, mass miseducation, and you get like mass prejudice, and like that happens to every single minority. I think, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like for me, like whenever like intramurals, I've had a case where someone actually made a racist joke in an intramural game, and like at Barry College, and it really awed me because I was like, wow, that's just crazy, and it was a bomb joke as well.
Like I want to believe that like the only way to generally fix these problems in America is to educate people so that way like they know. But I almost don't even want to believe that like education is even the answer at this point because like here we are at a college where like you would think that people would be like educated enough to like not make these kind of statements, but clearly it's still happening to some extent.
And I feel like that has to do with how they're raised. You know, minorities are raised way differently than, you know, the casual, like white folks. They're coming from a different background, and like for most, they have to work really hard to get to the point where they are. And I feel like for my family, that was the case. But it's not always, you know, Americans, you know, they're hierarchy or anything like that. There are some that are lower class as well. But
yeah.
I'm just saying minorities as a whole.
I'm not trying to generalize. I'm just trying to make a general statement about like how like, for the most part, if you compare like how like people in immigrant and minority homes are raised, and how like people in like non-immigrant, mostly white America are raised, it's like it's two very different cultures, both with different morals. And now like there are differences between like regions and like and education levels and income and all that, and like these obviously do play a factor. But I think in general it's that lack of self-awareness to like educate and do better and be better that leads to like us having to deal with like microaggressions and racism in the year 2020, now 2023. And so my hope, and this is to kind of like bring this to a conclusion, right, is that like if we're able to like somehow get to a common ground where we can all agree to at least educate ourselves about one another and see each other as human beings first, I think from there a lot more progress can be made than is currently being made right now, to avoid like these kind of things from just lingering around.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I feel the same way, and I just feel like we all need to come as one rather than create those little own groups of similarities. Like you'll have those, but like as a whole, we all need to respect each other and respect each other's opinions and viewpoints of certain situations, you know? And the world would be a lot better, I feel like.
So this has been Ultra Talk. We'll see y'all.
Thank y'all. Good night.